Welcome to this episode of YouTube where I've entitled it Keeping It Cool. And even though we've been having some cool nights, we were having some warm days, so we'll kind of go through what that means for each individual wolf. And one of the other things that I wanted to address too was, again, just reminding people that the wolves that we have are socialized. That means they're bottle fed at a young age to be able to get them to be tolerant of viewers. Our objective is to teach the world about wolves, and one method is to have wolves that display more natural behavior, which happens when they're more relaxed. Well, one of the things that people always misinterpret is that a socialized wolf is a safe group of wolves for humans to interact with. And what we mean by that is, yes, they are bonded, no doubt. They like to see staff. But when we enter the enclosure, we enter the world that they live in. And that means sometimes rank order issues, sometimes dominance, sometimes food possession, sometimes a little bit of redirected aggression. And certainly Denali here is facing the wrath of those 2-year-olds who keep kind of moving up in rank, especially Luna. And then he's got Aiden, who is more dominant than he is, also assisting. So sometimes you walk in and you might have just a little bit of, like I say, a little bit of this dominance that maybe rubs somebody the wrong way and then leads to another wolf to come up, approach, and take it out on a staff member. So I always want to clarify that with that. People think that, you know, the wolves love you, they would never hurt you, and, you know, and keep in mind this type of communication that goes on with social pack animals. Sometimes it can be very, very social, licking you in the face and greeting and tail wagging. But social pack animals also have dominance issues. They have predatory behavior. I've been hearing a few comments from people talking about the wolves being just like dogs, and just definitely want to clarify, they're not dogs. Certainly the instincts that they have that have been retained and are retained in a captive environment are the same instincts that make them an efficient predator, an efficient social carnivore in the wild. And so very important to note that. So anyway, so this week's title is Keeping Cool, and activity in the morning, activity in the evening. That's the best way you keep cool if you're a wolf. Otherwise, you go into the woods to be able to avoid heat. One of the things that we have noticed is ravens have been pretty active, and we've got some ravens who sat up on top of the roof above the wolf pen and plucked deer hide, and that certainly was late afternoon stimulus for the wolves. But what we try to do is we try to cool off the exhibit by running water, but their favorite thing to do is to come into the medical pen. So this is the medical pen, which is enclosed on all sides. It allows it to be free of snow in the wintertime. It allows us to, you know, to keep it cool in the summer if we do have a wolf in some kind of stress, and we can run the hose in there, and that is one of their favorite things to do. So here's Denali coming in and out of the chute, and so essentially there's a guillotine gate on into the exhibit that allows the wolves to come in. Even just getting their feet wet can oftentimes help cool them off. But what you'll see here is kind of a series of wolves utilizing this, and it does a couple of things. It's a positive reinforcement for them to willingly come into holding. And we need that. We need that when we have strong windstorms that may take down a tree, or that when we have a forest fire where we need to get the wolves into an adjacent area. And we did use that here not too long ago, that we had a fire headed towards the center. But it gives the wolves a positive experience for being in holding, and certainly gets the wolves next to each other in a relaxed state. This is Aiden and Luna, who not always are in close proximity with each other in a relaxed state. Luna likes to bite the water. Aiden's just standing there, just getting a good coating of it to help cool himself off. And there's Aiden showing you his discoid lupus nose, which is actually doing pretty good. We had a couple of spots we were concerned with, but they seem to be holding their own. So anyway, so that's how you cool off on these late August dog day afternoons. And Grizzer does the same kind of thing. Grizzer's, again, utilizing 3 different areas. And this is what we call the pack holding area, which is in the front. And he's, you know, again, getting greetings with wolf care staff. Grizzer having the opportunity to have almost all staff can enter with Grizzer. You know, we have a policy that the staff have to be in pairs, but Grizzer can interact with even the level 1, the newest handlers coming in, he's comfortable with, and we can manage him with new people. So he's got a lot more stimulus in the exhibit pack. And then that opportunity to come and go as he please is something that really Grizzly seems to really take advantage of. We are trying to make it as comfortable as possible over here on the eastern side of the exhibit, and this east side den here is one that he has been utilizing, and that's the one that the webcam is facing, so we're trying to keep that one full of chips to encourage him to stay there and to be on camera. Certainly the vantage point is nice. It's a thicker vegetated area, so he's got more breeze, he's got more transpiration from the trees, so it's a little bit cooler, and certainly it is a place that we frequently see him hanging out. Now, not all the time, because there's obviously other things going on in Grizzly's world, but for the most part, when he wants to relax, not quite as graceful as Shadow, certainly not that graceful, cross-legged, relaxed look on the den, but Grizzly's just kind of hanging out. He's hanging out, and that's where we try to greet him when staff interact with him, and certainly that's where we want to try to manage him to maximize the view on the webcam. But when there's activity going on in the exhibit pack, Luna or Bolt or Denali or Aiden, any one of those wolves will stimulate him to get up and run to the back side of his habitat, where he can actually be adjacent on the fence line to that exhibit pack. So that's a good stimulus for him. See on his nose there, he did scent roll on something. So he gets to see them actually from the top of that den, and then he comes through another chute and sees the staff, and that's when he goes into the Grizzly. We now had to name it the Grizzly 1500 because he does run through 3 enclosures now. Hard to keep up with, and certainly hard to keep good quality, steady filming when he's running by you, going a great distance there. But that's Grizzly in his excitement, and again, that stimulated by staff, and he'll go from the east side enclosure to the pack holding area to the back habitat, and then back again. So it's quite a little workout for him, and he's been doing it more and more. It's certainly a time of year, as I said, even though it's hot August days, our nights are cool. We have had temperatures, actually 39 degrees was the temperature just 2 mornings ago, so we're getting cool nights. Good thing, because they're growing their winter coats back, and you can see that in Grizzly. He's starting to get a little bit bulkier, and that's his winter undercoat coming in. But for the most part, we, like I say, try to encourage him to utilize this space so that he's on camera. We did broaden the camera view a little bit, because this camera is also our surveillance cam. So we wanted to see how many times he was coming in and out of this enclosure. So we did back off the view a little bit, so you don't have as detailed a look of Grizzly. But for surveillance, we needed to see that movement back and forth between the exhibit. We have another camera that picks up the chute, but we were missing kind of that front area of the east side enclosure. So anyways, so that's what's going on here. And in the upcoming weeks, the center is about to present some of the fall and winter programs, and some great things going on this year, and we're really hoping that people will take advantage of them. One of them I'd like to share is here in Wolf Care. We're hoping to do some webinars every month, and we've got our first webinar coming up on August 28th, kind of a trial run, where all you need is a Google email account and to register for the webinar, and we'll have a personal one-on-one, well, one-on-many people signing in to be able to ask questions and to be able to, again, have a close-up view of the wolves via the camera, but it'll allow us to be able to answer questions that you may have about each individual. So check out wolf.org for upcoming programs, and I will make an announcement on YouTube when they are ready for registration. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.